So Elizabeth and I want to read an extract from our book, The Leader's Guide to Impact, and in doing this we're going to read an excerpt from chapter 5, which is impacts on people at the same level, so your peer group. And we're going to give you some of our recent reflections on The Apprentice. Watching The Apprentice is sadly often entertaining for all the wrong reasons. A lot of it is like how not to behave in business if you want to have an impact on others in a powerful and constructive way. A masterclass that is being played out in all its full glory. We do not understand that it needs to be entertaining. We do understand that it needs to be entertaining and that participants are chosen with this in mind. Here are 5 things the apprentice candidates generally got wrong in one of the most recent sessions, from a teamwork and peer-to-peer and winning and collaborating perspective. Most of these observations are trends that have been consistent over several seasons. Number 1, what are the 5 things they got wrong? Egocentric behaviours. Who wants to work with someone who is all about me, me, me? Egocentric behaviours where people keep promoting themselves and saying things like, I'm a natural born leader, no one here is here to make friends, and I know I can beat anyone in this competition. They're just simple examples of this. Would you give it your all for someone who spoke like that? This egocentric outlook easily creates resentment in others and does nothing for team spirit. If you have to say, I'm a natural born leader, then you're probably not. The blame game, number 2. As soon as things start to go badly, the candidates are very quick to point the finger at each other, at their peers specifically. Sometimes this happens when the actual task is going on, but even more important, it is that it happens in the boardroom when people want to deflect there's negative attention away from themselves. The problem with the blame game is that it lacks personal responsibility and therefore leaves the person pointing the finger looking powerless. Respect is always possible in the boardroom. It's simply a choice of behaviour, and the best team members and leaders will always be respectful to others. As a peer, you never know when your peers will end up in a new and different position, and they may even end up as your boss in the future.
So the third thing they got wrong is lack of planning. Many of the tasks are poorly planned. The teams quickly throw themselves into action mode before first figuring out how they should operate together, how to communicate, report back, and all those other things. There's not enough alignment between team members and sub-teams, making sure they know they're all working in the same direction. One example of this was when the teams were arranging the evening events and team members were off selling tickets at different prices with different contents. Taking the time to plan, organise and align efforts are important parts of teamwork and collaboration. The best and most successful teams invest time in this critical part of the process. The fourth thing is not recognising each other's strengths. People are not fully listening to each other or figuring out how to best use the resources of the team. They all think they're there to promote themselves, and that is obviously to some degree how it's been sold to them. But no one is an island, no one can win a task on their own, just like in real life. For example, when the teams were creating a virtual reality game, the person who had the most experience in branding and graphic design was not put in charge of that task, and the outcome potentially could have been much more successful if those strengths had been valued and utilized. Using strengths in team is a winning formula. Using the people with the right skills for the job and acknowledging those strengths mean the task is performed more quickly, more productively, and a better result is achieved. Within your peer group, you can always use each other's areas of expertise or strength to get you to collectively achieve more. And finally, the fifth one is about poor communication. In pretty much every task, the sub-teams do not communicate enough with each other in order to align their purpose and their approach. As an example, when presenting the virtual game Magic Shells, no one knew who did what. It was chaotic and looked unprofessional. Feedback as a tool for great performance is also largely overlooked. They either do not give feedback at all, they just roll their eyes, or they scream in frustration. There's very little in between. And as a result, no real change can happen, just conflict and friction. Finally, levels of listening are low, with candidates speaking over each other, resulting in them not hearing each other. Communication, or more importantly, two-way communication, is crucial. In a peer group relationship, two-way communication can be used to ensure you're efficient and more aligned together. Really listening to others is the component to watch out for here.